Parshat Behaalotcha contains the episode of Pesach Sheni. There were men who were impure. They had come into contact with a dead body. And it was coming up the festival of Pesach. And in order to bring the Pesach sacrifice, the Paschal lamb, one has to be pure, but they weren't pure. And this was the first time that they were doing it in the wilderness. And they came to Moshe and they said, why should we be left out? Why should we be different to everybody else in the nation, that we cannot bring a Pesach sacrifice on this day because we're impure? And Moshe consulted with Hashem, and Hashem came back and he said, yes, they are correct. Allow them to bring the Pesach sacrifice a month later, on the 14th of Iyar, something that we refer to as Pesach Sheni. So on that day, they would come to the temple with their with their lamb, and they would roast it, and they would have it with matzah and maror. It would be a type of a Pesach. And very often people think about this as a second chance. God is giving them a second chance to do a mitzvah that they missed. And I heard a beautiful idea from Rabbi David Lichtenstein, who is the host of Halacha Headlines. And he says it's not really correct that we say it's a second chance. Second chances are usually what we associate with somebody who made a mistake, who messed things up, who didn't do it properly. And they come to their parent or they come to their employer and they say, please give us a second chance. But this wasn't the case here. These people didn't do anything wrong. In fact, according to the Talmud, they were escorting a dead body, or they were burying a dead body, which is a great mitzvah. But it's a mitzvah that cost them. They did a mitzvah, but it cost them. And what was the cost? The cost is that they weren't able to bring the Pesach sacrifice. And they come to Moshe, and Moshe says, look, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. You're not able. You're gonna miss out this time. Even though I know you did the right thing, but there's a cost to it. You're gonna miss out. But don't worry, you'll get your reward. You'll have your opportunity in a month's time to bring the Pesach sacrifice. In other words, it's not a second chance. It's because they missed out on doing a mitzvah, because they were in fact doing another mitzvah. And there was an example that he gave. He said that he is a very successful businessman. And a great deal of time he missed out on attending events for his children, perhaps not coming to their sports games, whatever it was. But why did he do that? He did that so that he could support them. He did that so that he could raise his family. So he did a mitzvah, and the purpose of the mitzvah was to raise his children and to give them the best that he could possibly give them. But the cost was that they missed out on his time. And there Hashem says, if you did something that had a cost, but it was the correct thing to do, I assure you, you will be rewarded. That's what Pesach Sheni is about. And therefore, sometimes we have to be good to ourselves. And we have to say to ourselves, I realize that you missed out on doing that. You really wanted to be at that particular event of your child or whatever, but the reason why you weren't is because you were working so hard to ensure that you would look after them. You were doing a mitzvah, and it cost you another mitzvah. And Hashem sees that, and Hashem will reward you. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.